It's Frank Klesitz, Vyral Marketing. You're going to hear from John Salkowski today, longtime client of Vyral Marketing. He's his own broker. So he has his own brokerage. He's in production. He spends half of his time in Naples, Florida, where he loves, and the other half of his time in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, which is his main market. And he sells in both markets. He came to us a while back and said, Frank, I got to have some plan to stay in touch with my list. And more importantly, I want to be able to do deals back in Pennsylvania while I'm living and working down in Naples. I need a way to get people to know me and hear from me. So they might close a deal maybe over the phone versus having to fly back home. And that kind of sums it up, doesn't it, John?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
So take us back a little bit. I'm going to ask you today what you're doing to get business. But take me back to your decision to ultimately, you've been selling real estate for how many years? How many years have you got this?
It was 18 years in May.
18 years. And I should have looked up how long you've been a customer, but how many years have you been a customer of Vyral?
I'm going to say 2017, maybe.
Okay, so it's been longer than 5. I should know this. We kind of just put this interview together. Probably should have done some research on how long, but it's been quite some time. Take me back to 2017. Take me back to the problem you were facing, and you needed a solution like ours, and the process you went through to think about maybe I should follow what Vyral Marketing teaches. Can you take me back to 2017 and explain the situation you're in? You were looking for a solution like us?
Yeah, I needed something other than email or text to stay in touch with my database of leads. And I wasn't doing video at that time. So I forget, I was recommended by you from another agent. I don't remember who, but I was recommended to Vyral. I reached out, and I've been doing 2 videos every month since then, touching the database 3 times actually per month, I believe. 2 videos and one lead generation email. And I've been doing that ever since, I believe, 2017.
How do you know at this point, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in, that it works?
I get email responses. I get phone calls. And some of the videos that I do, people appreciate the information. And, obviously you create the topics. We choose, what topic. And it's just a good way of staying in touch and communicating without being pestering. It's at every 2 weeks. And so they respond, good video. Thanks for the information. As a matter of fact, I got a few today from my lead generation email.
What did you send out? Was it the mortgage?
We sent out about the pre-approval.
So your topics, so we're recording this in the month of August. So for those of you that are interested, you can go to getvyral.com and we suggest some topics. So let's pull up the August suggestions. Should I make repairs before listing my house? How much does it cost to sell a home today? And this was kind of interesting. Why don't you, as the realtor, send out an email to get a free rate quote, which is kind of timed pretty well because rates dropped a bit. And there's talk in the news about the Fed meeting in September to drop them some more. And you had some people apply for a kind of a refinance or a rate quote on your landing page, huh?
Yeah, two responses, and I'm also getting several responses on the recruiting side about signing up for 12 months of my email marketing newsletter. So they're getting an attachment with 12 of my videos that they can click on and watch.
So I probably should have brought this up. John has 2 accounts with us.
Correct.
Yeah, 2. One's for consumers to stay in touch with the 2 educational videos a month and the monthly lead generation message. And the second account is for agent recruiting for your brokerage to hopefully find some productive agents that are inspired by the grind, right, John?
Well, the reason I'm using that is I created that back in 2010, inspiredbythegrind.com, because I believe, that's where it all starts. Like you, Frank, when you started Vyral, you had to be inspired by the grind.
Oh, yeah. Lots of planes and lots of hand-to-hand combat, meeting people at conferences at the bar. This is where it starts, to build the relationships that you could scale up to doing more online marketing. 100%. So yeah, so you have your 2 videos and your educational. You have your 2 educational videos a month and your monthly lead generation message every month, both on the consumer side and you do on the recruiting side. Let's share with everyone what your topics were if you chose them, the suggested ones for recruiting. Let me go over to August. What should I put in my listing presentation is one of your video topics, followed by how do I properly ask a seller for a price reduction? And then the lead generation message to spike response to bring people back to a landing page is download all my past e-newsletters. Or we can give you like hosted links to all the videos you've been sending out for years on the consumer side.
Yeah, that's the one I used, and that's what I'm getting responses on. And then I also shot the video on what you should put on your listing presentation.
Oh, that's great. Sweet. So you're using Vyral as a tool to stay in touch with your past clients and your centers of influence and your leads on the consumer side. And you're using the Vyral Marketing Plan as a tool to stay in touch with all of the agent relationships to help build a relationship so they take an appointment with you about possibly working at your brokerage. All right. Let's step back. I mean, the market's down, man. A lot different now than probably what it was in 2017 or 2018 or 2021 and 2022. What are you doing? And share with the audience what you're doing to keep your listing volume up and to remain competitive and keep the deal pipeline consistent. And make no mistake, a much more difficult market with Vyral or to complement it.
You know, it's interesting because this week alone, signed up 2 listings, one being a 48-acre horse farm for just under $5 million. Been staying in touch with that gentleman, the owner of that, who's also an Olympian, for 1,675 days in my database. So do the math. And then I just signed up another listing. I met with this guy.
4.5 years, by the way.
How long?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. So I just signed up another one, which we got under contract within 24 hours for almost 50,000 over. He was in our database 1,600 days.
Isn't that crazy? What was the original lead source on those 2 leads?
It was free home evaluation.
So something that came in so light off the internet with no relationship, like such a light stranger top of funnel lead. And somehow like they managed to end up hiring you all those years versus one of your competitors. It's pretty incredible of the nurturing process of that.
Yes, and that is basically what it boils down to. And when he called me, obviously I recognized his voice right away and told me to come out. He's ready to sell. Back then when I met with him, he wasn't ready. He was going through some issues, some problems. And I did ask him why he ended up calling me, because quite frankly, I didn't reach out over the phone as much as I should have. It was by email. He goes, when I met you, I liked your personality. I kept your card, but you're also sending me emails a few times a month.
God, he never unsubscribed all those years.
Never unsubscribed.
You know, you should go back and see if he actually clicked through. It'd be interesting to see.
I will tell you this. I did go into his profile, and he has not logged in to my system in over 180 days, but he just called me.
Well, he hasn't logged into your buyer lead system, but we run your emails through a separate system.
That's correct.
Ask your coach to run his email history in the account, and I'm curious to see the click and open pattern. Because it really could be. Maybe he never clicked through. I'm just curious. Maybe he never clicked through, but he saw the screenshots of the videos. You know, so he saw the videos, but it's more the thumbnails versus actually watching them, which is a common thing I hear. That's so cool, man.
And then I have one more story. I have one more story to tell you too. Mr. Kang called me while I was in Naples a couple weeks ago, and I didn't recognize the name. And he goes, John, I'm in your database. I'm getting your emails consistently. I'd like to have you over to talk about selling my property. So me and my one agent go on a listing appointment when I get back. And I will tell you this, being in Naples couple weeks a month, being in Pennsylvania a couple weeks a month, I often do listing presentations while my agent is on site over Zoom and over FaceTime. So while I was in Naples, I signed up 2 listings over Zoom from people in our database that have reached out. This gentleman, Mr. Kang, told me that he liked my persistence of emailing, and that's the reason why I called. He said he interviewed 5 other agents. We went over, sat with him and his wife. We signed them up right then and there.
So doesn't that go against when you get in your own head that nobody cares, nobody's watching, everyone's unsubscribing, why am I doing this? Who wants to hear from me? But it's just not true.
I have to tell you, my philosophy is a lead is not dead until they tell you to stop calling. And I will tell you, most of them do not respond to our calls, our text messages, or our emails. I have to tell you, Mr. Kang was in our system, and I can actually pull this up while I'm on with you, and I will tell you exactly how many days he was in our system. And we just signed him up for $450,000. He has been in our system 1,000. No, excuse me. Yes, 1,000 days.
And when you talk to them about why they used you, references to the videos and the content you publish is coming up in that reason. Like they're referencing the fact they've been getting your videos specifically, not like your home value drips.
Correct. And as a matter of fact, he did not agree with our home value drips, but he still called me.
Yeah.
And what he said was, and this is a gentleman that retired who's 80, he's 81 years old, and he was in business for himself. He's an entrepreneur, and he handled importing of wine from all over the world. And he did say that he was impressed by the consistency of my
That's
emails.
cool, man.
Yeah, I have to tell you, it's been a good month. Listen, this business, as you know, is tough. And I've said it for 18 years. The only way to fail is to quit. And I'm going to tell you, 1,000 days, 1,600 days, 1,700 days, 3 listings we signed up. I don't know who else, to be honest with you, who else would have stayed in touch that long before deleting them out of their system. So I will say this is that the consistency matters. It really does. And, I will say, even colleagues outside, of my business that are in the real estate business in other states, they see my videos coming across social media. They have even said, we love your consistency. And that's, it's discipline and consistency. I mean, if you can do that, you can convert a 1,000-day lead in your system, a 1,600-day lead in your system. And listen, I'm a broker owner. I'm a small boutique little brokerage. I don't just take anybody in my brokerage. They have to be a really core value fit for me. I'm not sort of one to grow just to grow. I really want people here that really resonate with everybody. And, I don't take newer agents on, just don't have the time to train them. So I'm looking for more experience. But I have to tell you, it without this touch, I would not be doing it.
Well, you kind of shifted there from staying in touch with the consumer side to sharing the same principles apply on the agent recruiting side for the type of person you want to work with all day.
Well, it's the same.
Could you speak to that a little bit about the same plan, building relationships at scale with your ideal agent, being a lighthouse to attract them?
I might be a little different where other brokers and broker owners, they might just take just anyone. And, I try to send my videos out to a certain production, of what, the agent is doing. And they're downloading my information. They're emailing me and I'm providing resources for them. So, I remember, Frank, when I joined, I remember what you said to me. You want to train the competitors' agents better than their own broker of record does. So when they do decide to change brokerages, they think of you first and foremost. So I've always kept that in my mind. So just being consistent with training and coaching and sending out informational videos that are going to help these agents close more deals is what I've been doing for all these years.
When it comes to building your list on the consumer side, you said you're probably running some Facebook and Google ads to find out what your Collegeville home is worth. What are some other things you're doing to build your list to give me names for effective marketing?
I don't do any Zillow. I don't do any Realtor.com. All I do is Google pay-per-click and sphere of influence, past clients.
Google pay-per-click messages, find out what your home is worth. What else?
And then, the buyer leads for my avatar. So looking to buy a home in 19426 or...
Click here to search properties for sale.
Correct. Search properties for sale in Collegeville. Yeah, pretty standard. Absolutely. So, but we're more now on the listing side. We have lowered the pay-per-click for buyers. So we're more of a 85-15 lead generation flow. 85% sellers, 15% buyers.
One of the things that we're working with John on after being a client for so long, he'll call me up and be like, Frank, I got to build the list. What are some other strategies you got to build the list? So you got your pay-per-click, you got your past clients in Sphere. One of the things you're doing for that is Vyral. I'm sure there's other mailers and care calls and whatnot as well. Pretty standard. But the third thing you're doing is, why don't you tell the audience about your plan to bring back the seller workshop?
I have been running a virtual home seller workshop now for a little while, and the turnout is, I will have people sign up, but then I will not have people show up, even with confirmation emails, even with calls. So what we're doing now is, with your help, Frank, is we're going to run a live in-person home seller workshop offering a free meal, but also bringing on speakers such as home inspectors, financial advisors, mortgage people, and running a couple-hour event, over lunch, to generate more now sellers.
I think we could also look into local libraries, Lower Providence,
Yep,
Perkiomen, Norristown, Phoenixville.
Yep. Oh yeah,
I'm looking at them.
So my agent, Michelle, who is the one that, she is my listing assist agent. She assists me on every listing I go on. And she comes from the senior care living and the assisted living care rather. And so she is really well to do with the seniors. So we are actually going to be hosting in September at one of our senior living centers.
Oh, perfect.
In Collegeville, and the facility is also going to provide a lunch for us.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that transitioning to senior living, making that smooth.
Yes.
Make sure for the tickets we offer, like bring your family, the whole family be involved in that transition and what that looks like. That's great, John. Yeah, just for anyone watching this, we're kind of filming this, taping this on the tail end of the buy-side commission settlement rolling out. And the idea in the industry is like, wow, really need a plan to build some relationships with sellers, maybe beyond the internet leads, beyond the database if I had that in place. What's a way to go out on my own and start building relationships with homeowners direct? And the seminar model, wonderful model, John. I'm excited to hear how that goes.
Yeah, and Frank, what I'm going to do is, it's not going to be a PowerPoint presentation or anything like that. It's going to be me up there speaking about the home selling process and bringing in professional people that will aid along the way in my pre-sale home inspections. People that are selling but need to buy, getting them pre-approved, talking to, financial advisors. And I may even have a tax accountant and lawyer there as well. So, with your help, I'm going to run this, and I'm going to do it once a month, and see where it goes for sure.
It's great.
Absolutely.
So back to your experience with Vyral, both on the consumer side and the recruiting side, what would you say are the key things that really keep you around after all these years? the key value propositions that you really value the most with our firm. You're going to dive into it. What would you say are the key reasons that keeps you around as a customer, and this is working, that you like the most, that separates us from maybe all the different other options to do something similar in the industry?
Well, I believe video is very important. And I think you do an outstanding job with, the platform, creating the videos, the way they look. But not only that, I have to tell you, it's the accountability. My viral rep, Sean, he
He's
and
great.
our calendar is blocked out for the month. We meet every week on a certain day, certain time, and we shoot these 2-minute videos, and we're on the computer together, just like we are now, no more than 30 minutes. But he keeps me accountable. And I think that is one of the reasons. But not only that, touching my database, twice to 3 times a month with the help of your marketing, because I'm in the field still. As a broker owner, I'm still listing properties. I'm not working with many as buyers, but I'm still the listing agent in my office. And it's just a way of staying in touch with my database, and video. There's no other. I think video is the best way to do it if you're going to stay in touch. Now, listen, some people, in the beginning, I didn't want to be on video, and so it was a thing that I had to overcome. And I remember Brian Tracy many years ago, reading one of his books saying, in order to overcome your fear, you must do exactly what you are scared of. And so, once I started doing it, was consistent, the fear went away, and I feel like I got better. And you look at my first video, you can tell, it's like anything else, right? You got to crawl before you walk. But yeah, it's the consistency, and I think it's the database touch. And I do believe most of my database looks forward to my videos.
That's great, man. What would you say are the most popular, over time, in your gut? What are the most popular video topics and the most popular offers, both on the consumer side and the agent recruiting side, that you remember got you the most eyeballs and response?
I'll start with the recruiting side. I must have got 60 to 80 emails of downloads of my listing presentation.
Yeah, that's the number one.
My listing, and I have my listing presentation in a book, and I have to tell you, they downloaded it, and I gave my listing presentation away. And some of the agents that don't do video were like, "Why would you give your secrets away?" Listen, my philosophy is, my brokerage is an open book. I'll teach any agent, but here's the thing. The difference between me and most, they're not going to do what it requires. So giving away my listing presentation is not a fear of mine. It's coming from a position of help, but I will tell you, more people downloaded that than any other source we sent out.
That's consistently the number. That and like my book of scripts are probably
That's another good one. That's another good
probably
one.
the two most popular offers for immediate response behind a landing page is drive people to download. That's great. What about topics on the recruiting side? Questions you answer
On the recruiting side?
Yeah.
So I would say the one that I think got a lot of engagement is teaching agents what to say during listing presentations, and how to handle a listing presentation. I think that is key. Listen, listings are important. Everybody knows that. Everybody's training that. But I think that is going over handling objections, telling the agent what to say. I think they're...
Yeah, the scripts and what to say.
Yes.
The messaging. Yeah. The messaging.
Yes.
Yeah. Consumer side. What's the best offer you sent out for spike of leads?
I think the 3 options that I offer during the listing during my listing, you have 3 options, meaning the traditional way of selling your home, the cash deal, gets good responses. Another good response too is, an in-house consultation for a free walkthrough to determine value of your property. That has gotten good response. And I always say in my videos, there is never any cost or obligation for contacting me. If you are thinking of selling now or in the future, have me over. have one of my agents over, allow us to walk through your property. While we're doing so, we'll give you tips on what to do, more importantly, what not to do to get your home ready. And then I also say, if you don't want to do anything and you want to sell your property as is, still have me over. And if you're looking to sell quickly without putting, it on the market, without people walking through your property, we can also offer you a cash deal. And then I go into, where they're going to make their most money. But if they're looking for convenience or top dollar, they're two different strategies.
So your offers are pretty standard. The two most popular call to actions in real estate: request a cash offer on your home, or find out
Correct.
what your home is worth, which then you follow up. So let's actually get it right versus the algorithms.
Yeah, and even the algorithm that we have in our system, where it gives them a monthly evaluation of their home, a range from median to low to high. I always tell them, do not go off of that. Have me over. If you want an accurate evaluation, have me over. And that's where we get some responses as well.
If you were to sum up someone that's on the fence or thinking about hiring Vyral, or just not even hiring us, like just going to go execute the plans on our website, maybe with their own video editor or their own staff, what words of encouragement or tips would you give someone that wants to start looking into a camera and publishing videos out to their list?
Frank, I don't know any other source for the value that you provide, for the cost that you provide. I don't know if there's any other source out there that beats Vyral, to be honest with you. I just don't. I think you provide so much value. Not only that, you help with video topics. You help with educational emails. I mean, so what I like about Vyral, Frank, is not only working with Sean and you, but you are an outstanding marketer. And I'm in the field selling homes while you're thinking of and coming up with the topics that are most important in our industry. So you're like my on-site Dan Kennedy, if you will, Mark.
Love Dan Kennedy, man. I love being compared to him.
Well, listen, that's how I gauge, Frank Klesitz and Vyral, to be honest with you. And, I think the value, they have to see the value. They have to try. And I think don't you give a free trial?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. If anyone's interested,
yeah,
go to the website, request a consultation. We'll talk to you. It's a 90-day trial or 90-day money back guarantee, however you want to look at it. You ain't going to lose money in 90 days. I'll refund it for any reason. And even before you sign up, we'll shoot a free video with you. So we'll get you on Riverside. We're actually, if you're actually watching this on YouTube, I'm using a webcam, a little nicer webcam. I'm on the Elgato face cam. John, you're on the Logitech C920, I think. They look pretty good.
Yes, and that was the recommendation of you.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
That was a couple of years ago, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's nicer ones now, but you look great. You're fantastic. It records, instead of watching the Zoom stream, it's actually recording our footage right to our hard drives, so it's lossless. And then when it goes to our editor, we have lossless footage to edit this real nice. So it should look and sound really nice because it's not recording the stream, it's recording right to the hard drives. So then you upload it and you have a good footage.
Well, Frank, that was the reason I signed up with Vyral back then, is because of the guarantee that you offered. I'm like, how could you lose? So, and
it's a good deal. I think it's a great deal. Yeah, we're at the point now where we could take on some customers, and if you need a refund, I don't have too much of a hard cost, so it makes sense. And there's not a lot of marketing companies that will stand behind their product for a full 90 days and issue refunds. And I do, man. There's a couple that come in every month for reasons beyond our control, and really the reasons beyond the client's control, because you can refund your money for any reason. I don't care. And I always ask for a Google review if we do it, if we refund your money. So I get reviews on the refund, which is kind of interesting, right? You go read them.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
John, thanks for doing this. Thanks for sharing your insights. Thanks for being a client for so long. And there were some good tips that anyone could watch this and pull away from to get better results with the program here at Vyral. So thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for being a friend of the client for so many years.
It works, Frank. And I appreciate you. Appreciate Sean. And listen, it's bringing in business into my brokerage with just doing 2 videos a month and 1 educational email. I mean, it's literally an hour and a half a month out of my time, the whole month, to generate business. I do it all day long.
Thanks, John.